Muy estimado amigo Said
Very dear
Musa,
friend Said Musa,
primer ministro de Belice,
Prime Minister of Belize,
distinguidos y apreciados miembros,
distinguished
de
and
la
appreciated
delegación de
members
Belice,
of the Belize delegation,
compañeras y compañeros.
comrades all.
En esta ocasión se han invertido los papeles.
On this occasion, we have turned the roles a different way.
Estamos acostumbrados
We are
en
used
este salón a condecorar a nuestros
to decorate our visitors in this same hall.
En este caso,
On this occasion, though,
pudo más la generosidad del gobierno de Belice
the generosity of the Belize government was stronger,
y su persistencia
as well as its persistence.
que mis reiteradas protestas
And no matter my reiterated protests
ante la idea de concederme
to the idea of
este honor con
receiving
motivo
this decoration
de su visita.
on the occasion of this visit,
Esperamos tener la
we finally had to agree.
oportunidad
So we hope, however,
de reciprocar
to have the
este
chance to be reciprocal.
He conocido con gran honor que esta es la primera vez que
It has been a great
la
honor
Orden de Belice
to be invested with this order, since I have
Se
learned that this is the
otorga
first time it is presented to a foreigner.
a un extranjero.
It is the first time presented to a foreign leader.
Lo que no me gusta es la palabra extranjero,
What I do not like very much is the word foreigner,
porque es algo que en mi mente va quedando
because
atrás.
in my mind, that creates the idea of something foreign, alien.
Cuando pienso que nuestros sentimientos de
And I rather
humanidad
feel
crecen
that our sentiments
y
of friendship are
tienen
growing,
que crecer.
and they must
cada vez
continue
más.
to grow.
Y cuando ese sentimiento triunfe, ya en este mundo no habrán extranjeros.
And when that sentiment has taken all over the world, there will be no more foreigners on this earth.
Pero ciertamente es un mundo
But certainly,
en que todavía
this is a world
muchas personas
where still there are many people
no han adquirido esa conciencia.
who have not grown that awareness.
Eso. Pero entiendo todo el valor que tiene
I understand, however,
y todo el deseo que encierra
the value
y toda la
of this
insistencia
order and the great significance
que se puso
of the fact
en la decisión
that this decision was made
de entregar la condecoración en esta
to
ocasión.
present this decoration to us on this occasion.
Es realmente una generosidad que me
Actually, we take it as an act of generosity
conmueve,
on the part of the delegation, which is very moving to
me
us,
emociona
which we find it
y me compromete
very exciting, and it commits me a lot.
a ser realmente digno y acreedor.
It means for me a commitment to
Esta
really deserve such an
distinción.
honor as you have invested upon me.
Cuando nuestra revolución triunfa en
At the
1959,
victory of our revolution in 1959,
prácticamente no había países independientes
there were hardly any independent nation
entre las islas del Caribe,
among the Caribbean islands,
con excepción de Haití, que
with the
había
exception of Haiti,
iniciado su lucha hace casi
which had
200
begun its
años
struggle almost 200 years ago,
y llevó a cabo la primera
and which carried forward
lucha por la
the first
independencia.
struggle for independence
Y más tarde,
in the region.
la
Later
República
on,
Dominicana.
the Dominican Republic,
Puerto Rico,
Puerto Rico,
pueblo hermano,
a sister nation
por cuya libertad luchaban
for whose freedom Martí
junto a los patriotas
fought together with the patriots
puertorriqueños,
of that country.
cuando se organizaba nuestra lucha por la
When our
independencia,
struggle for independence was being hatched,
ha permanecido un siglo
that nation has remained
bajo la potencia que
for a
ocupó
century
su territorio
under the domination of a foreign power.
en 1898.
Ever since 1898,
Solo eran 3 repúblicas.
there were
¿Qué?
only 3 republics then:
República Dominicana,
the Dominican Republic,
Cuba,
Cuba,
constantemente invadidas,
which was constantly
intervenidas.
invaded,
Los que existíamos como países
and
independientes.
assailed, but we were the only republics in this vicinity.
Y a lo largo de estas décadas,
And in the course of these decades,
una por una, las
we have
islas
seen one by
caribeñas,
one all the Caribbean islands,
sobre todo las que formaban parte del imperio
mostly those
británico,
which had been part of the British Empire.
fueron adquiriendo
We
su
have seen
independencia.
them acceding to independence.
Y debo decir
And I should say
que es muy justo
that it is fair,
que estos países independientes del
very
Caribe
much so, that these independent nations in the Caribbean,
han sido los mejores amigos
it is fair to say that they have been the best
de
friends
nuestro país
of our country
en este hemisferio.
in this hemisphere.
Cuando, con excepción de México,
When every country, with the exception of Mexico,
todos los gobiernos
I mean all the
independientes
governments
de América Latina
in
rompieron
Latin
relaciones
America
con Cuba,
severed relations with Cuba,
fueron los países del Caribe,
the Caribbean nations,
los nuevos países independientes,
I mean the newly independent countries in the Caribbean,
los que lucharon
were the ones who put up a fight
junto a Torrijos,
together with Torrijos,
el cual guardamos siempre un gran recuerdo y
for whom we always keep
mucha gratitud.
good memories and great
Los que
appreciation.
libraron una gran
But those were the
batalla
nations, as I said,
por romper el
that waged a
aislamiento,
great struggle to break the isolation imposed on our country.
y su esfuerzo fue fructífero.
And they were successful in that effort.
Hoy las relaciones
Today,
son con el resto de América Latina
our
son muy
relations with the
amplias,
rest of Latin America have expanded.
casi sin excepción tenemos
We have relations with almost every
representación
country
diplomática
without exception.
o representación.
We either have diplomatic relations or consular
Cultural.
representations.
Se ha multiplicado el número de estados
Also,
independientes
the number of independent states have multiplied
de América, en nuestro hemisferio.
in our hemisphere,
En América, en América del Sur
as well as in South America.
tenemos a Guyana,
I mean, in South America, we have Guyana,
a Surinam,
Surinam,
no eran independientes,
which also attained their
y
independence,
un gran número de islas
and a great number of islands
en el Caribe.
in the Caribbean basin.
Hoy el número de estados con
Today, the number
independientes
of independent states
deben ser más de 40, pero he perdido la
must be
cuenta
over
ya.
40 in the area. I think I have lost count of them.
Es que como no estamos en la OEA,
And it is as we are not members of the OAS,
ya ni sabemos exactamente
we
el
do not
número
know
de países
exactly how many are
de estados
there,
independientes que hay
independent countries in
en
this
este
region,
hemisferio.
in the hemisphere.
Porque hay uno muy poderoso y muy
Because there is one
influyente
very powerful
que ha hecho todo lo posible
who
por
has been doing its utmost
aislarnos.
so as to isolate our country.
Pero la gran realidad es que
However,
hoy
the fact is that today
nadie ha podido impedir el
we see the
estrechamiento de los
reality that
vínculos
nobody has been able to
de
prevent
Cuba
the closing of
con
our
todos los
bonds
vecinos del
of friendship
Caribe
with all the neighbors in the Caribbean,
y casi todos los países de América
as well as
Central
most of the countries of South
y
America
de Sudamérica.
Central and South America.
Ahora bien, nosotros nos hemos convertido
Now then, we have become
prácticamente en predicadores y
preachers
luchadores
and advocates
por las relaciones entre la América Latina
for the strengthening of relations
y los países
between
del
Latin
CARICOM,
America and the CARICOM countries.
de las islas independientes.
I mean the countries of the independent
del Caribe.
islands in the Caribbean basin.
Actualmente
At present,
somos igual que ustedes,
we are, like you,
miembros de la Asociación de Países,
members of the Association of Caribbean States,
de los países del Caribe. Al igual que ustedes, somos
and also like you,
en cierta medida,
we are to a certain extent
como observadores,
observers
parte de la Convención de Lomé.
and part of the Lomé Convention.
Participamos en importantes reuniones
We take part
internacionales,
in significant international gatherings,
como la que se va a celebrar
as the one that will soon take place
este año
this year
en Río de Janeiro,
at Rio de Janeiro,
entre la Unión Europea
where the
todos
European
los
Union
países
will be meeting with all the countries
de América Latina
of Latin America
y del Caribe.
and the Caribbean basin.
Realmente será una reunión
It will certainly be
numerosa.
a numerous meeting,
No envidio a los
a large
organizadores
participation, so I do not envy the organizers of such a meeting
por la gran cantidad de
because
visitantes
of
que
the large
tendrán que
number of
recibir
visitors they will have to take care of
y la gran cantidad de discursos que
and
se
the
van a
great number of
pronunciar.
speeches that will be heard there.
Debo decir,
I should also say
realmente siempre que he conversado con
that every time
colegas
I have talked with
latinoamericanos,
Latin American colleagues,
sobre todo de Sudamérica,
mostly from South America,
siempre les he recordado
I usually remind them
que el Caribe
that the Caribbean
no puede ser olvidado.
cannot be forgotten.
Ya últimamente,
Lately,
cuando se habla de América Latina,
when people speak about Latin America,
se añade América Latina
they say Latin America
y el Caribe.
and the Caribbean.
Constantemente insistimos en esa
And we constantly insist in that terminology
idea, a partir de la concepción
because it is an idea based
de que
on the
nuestros países no
conception
tienen otra
that our
alternativa
countries do not have any other choice
que
but
luchar en común,
to fight together,
coordinar sus
to
acciones,
coordinate their positions,
buscar la mayor
to coordinate their efforts,
integración económica,
and to work towards as much
Posible.
economic integration as possible
independientemente de las
Regardless
diferencias individuales que
of
puedan
their
tener los países
individualities, regardless of their individual
este
characteristics,
hemisferio. Y he
regardless
podido
of
observar
many other
en
characteristics
mi
of the
visita por
hemisphere.
distintos
And
países
I
del
have been
área
able to see in my visit to different countries
que crece ese sentimiento.
that sentiment is gaining
unidad.
ground in these
Es por
countries.
ello que debemos
That
luchar
is why we feel
por la amistad,
that we should all strive for
las buenas
friendship,
relaciones,
for the improvement of
el
relations,
respeto
and for respect
y la paz
and peace
entre todos los países
among all the nations
del hemisferio.
in the hemisphere.
Digo el hemisferio, sí, debería ser de
I
todo el
say the
hemisferio,
hemisphere,
pero
and yes,
esencialmente aquellos que formamos parte
I should say also that essentially
del hemisferio pobre
those who are part of the poor hemisphere
de América.
in the Americas.
Los pobres tenemos que unirnos.
I mean, we, the poor, should
Uno
come
más pobre y
together.
otro más pobre.
Some are
Menos.
poor, some are less poor,
Pero
and
todos
others are
pobres.
poorer. But we should all come
Todo
together.
país, todos países del tercer
All
mundo
the third world countries
y que luchan por su
who are
desarrollo,
striving for their development,
que tienen crecientes problemas
and all these countries which are facing growing
para
problems
vencer la pobreza
to overcome poverty
y el atraso
and backwardness
a que nos sometieron
to which
siglos
They
de
have been subjected by
colonialismo,
centuries of colonialism,
de semicolonialismo,
semi-colonialism,
de esclavitud
slavery,
y de dominación.
and domination.
Todo ese tiempo hay que recuperarlo.
All these years that have been lost
Creo que en
ought to be
nuestros pueblos
recovered.
hay talento y hay
We
capacidad.
have to work with the talents and the capacities of our
Y es muy
peoples
importante
It is
divulgar
very
la idea
important
de la
to build on
cooperación
the
y la
idea of
unión
cooperation and unity
entre todos nuestros
among
países
all of our countries
sin desalentarnos
without
jamás
being discouraged ever
por los grandes
by
obstáculos
the great obstacles
que podamos encontrar
we may find
en nuestro camino.
along that path.
Es también el destino del mundo
It is
unido.
also the destiny of the world at
Y
large.
en primer lugar de los países
And in the first
del
place,
tercer
the
mundo,
destiny of the third world countries
África, de
from
Asia.
Africa
de otros continentes
and other continents
para coordinar nuestro
to come together. They need to
Acciones,
coordinate our
esfuerzos.
positions to arrange our
en
efforts
las distintas organizaciones
in the different
internacionales,
international fora,
distintos movimientos,
in
como
the
el de los
different
marianos,
international movements and
y
organizations,
de modo muy especial en las Naciones
and very
Unidas,
especially at the United Nations,
institución que ha reunido
an
experiencias
organization which has accumulated experience
y que constituye una especie de embrión
and which constitutes a kind of an embryo
de cooperación
of cooperation
internacional. Desde
among
luego,
all nations of the world.
nosotros concebimos unas Naciones Unidas democráticas
Of course, we conceive of a United Nations with a democratic style.
sin la dictadura del Consejo de
We are
Seguridad
thinking of a democratic United Nations without the dictatorship of the Security Council
y sin dictaduras dentro del
and
Consejo de
without
Seguridad.
dictatorships inside, within the Security Council.
Una institución
We are thinking of an organization
donde la voz y los criterios
where the voice and the criteria
de los representantes de todos los países
of the
del mundo
representatives of all the countries in the world
reunidos en la Asamblea
meeting in the General
General
Assembly
sean escuchados
can be heard
y sean acatados.
and can be listened to
Hoy de
and
nada vale,
respected.
de nada vale que 170
Today,
países o
it is
175
useless if a
países,
large number of countries in the United Nations reach an agreement on something.
todos excepto uno
It is enough with only one
que sea miembro permanente del Consejo
being
de
a
Seguridad.
standing member of the Security Council and opposing such a decision.
No tengan
That would be enough
posibilidad de adoptar un acuerdo
to make such an agreement
y que se
impossible,
cumpla.
non-feasible.
Si el 99%
If 99% are in agreement,
basta uno
it's enough with only one opposing,
y es suficiente para que
one of those with the right to
reducir
oppose,
a cero
to reduce to
la
zero
facultad y las prerrogativas
all
de todos los
the
demás
power
miembros
and the prerogative of the rest of the nations which are
en
members
virtud de esa
of that
anacrónica
organization.
institución
And all that due to that anachronic approach,
o anacrónica prerrogativa que se
or
llama
that anachronic prerogative
veto
known as the veto,
inventado
the veto power,
cuando el número de estados
which was invented
era casi
when the
5 veces menos
number of member states of the United Nations was practically
que somos.
5 times less than what it is
y
now.
concebimos unas Naciones Unidas democratizadas.
So what we have in mind is a democratized
Y si
United
algunos
Nations organization.
y si algunos privilegios no se pueden
And if some privileges
por
cannot
ahora
be eliminated for the time being,
eliminar, que por lo menos sean compartidos
then at least to have it shared
entre un número mayor de
by
países
a larger number of countries.
y que ese privilegio
And for that privilege,
tiránico
that tyrannic
del veto
privilege, which is the veto power,
no sea facultad de Cuba a otro
not to
país,
be only in the hands of 4 countries.
que el número de miembros permanentes sea mayor
There should be a larger number of standing members,
y que además las posibilidades de vetar
and also the possibilities to veto
sean
a decision
consecuencia de otras regulaciones y otros
become only the
procedimientos,
result of different kinds of
de modo que
regulations.
no pueda haber un solo país
I mean that the possibility does not exist for only one
que
country
anule la voluntad
being
de
able to annul
todos
the
los
will
demás.
of all the rest of
Y al
nations in the
mismo
world.
tiempo hay que garantizar
The same way,
que la Asamblea General,
it should
donde
be
estamos
guaranteed
todos
that the National
representados,
Assembly, where we all have a voice,
tenga voz
is really heard
y voto
and its vote really
en
counts
las decisiones fundamentales.
when the
del-
fundamental decisions are going to be made by that organization.
Hoy